doing something.
Yeah.
You ready?
No, I don't have my phone yet.
Okay.
I did. I just unmuted it.
Gotta reach the gavel with his hand. There we go.
You just Kelly know.
Today's meeting of the Municipal Code Enforcement Board is called to order on December 18th,
Yes. You should have some of yours as well. Sorry.
2019. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
No, that's okay.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Agendas for today's meeting are on the wall at the entrance to chambers. Please remember to turn off your cell phones. The Municipal Code Enforcement Board consists of 7 members who are appointed by the City Council, and we serve voluntarily. It is this board's intention to promote, protect, and improve the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of Clearwater by providing this equitable, effective, and inexpensive method of enforcing certain codes within the city. The board considers new business items in 2 parts. First, the violation, then affirmative relief. Formal rules of evidence do not apply. Each side is limited to 15 minutes, and the board may grant additional time. All proceedings will be conducted in a calm, civil manner. Individuals who conduct themselves otherwise will be asked to leave. If necessary, they will be escorted from the chambers. Now I ask all who plan to speak to rise and be sworn in by the clerk.
Sorry. Oh. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth throughout your entire testimony? Thank you.
Our first order of business is to review and approve the minutes of last month's meeting. May I have a,
Move to approve. Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Is there anyone here to speak to items not on the agenda? Okay. New business items. Item 4.1. Oh, no, this one's continued.
Madam Chairman, we're going down to 4.3.
Case 241-19, fine respondents Etchborough Investments LLC at 1307 Pierce Street in violation of code for exterior surfaces and issue an order with the compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm just great, thank you.
Uh,
Vicki Fletcher with the City of Clearwater. This is for 1307 Pierce Street. Case number 241-19. There's one violation here for exterior surfaces, and we're requesting compliance on or before January 18th, 2020, or a fine of $150 per day for each day the violation continues to exist. We're asking the board to authorize the following after 3 months from the recordation dates of such lien. If the fine and fees remain unpaid, the city attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien using any legal or equitable remedies available under the law.
Is there someone here?
Not that I'm aware of.
I'll make a first motion.
Okay,
I move to find the respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, do I have a second motion?
Sure. Second motion. I move to enter an order requiring the respondent to correct the violation on or before January 18th, 2020. If the respondent does not comply by that date, the board may order a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day each violation continues to exist. If fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. Case 245-19. Fine respondent Steak and Shake Operations, Inc. at 18627 U.S. Highway 19 North in violation of code for temporary sign and issue an order with a compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Mr. Knight. Yes, sir.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
Good. Please identify yourself for the clerk.
Todd Knibbe with Steak and Shake.
Okay.
Would you spell your last name, please?
K-N-I-E-B-B-E.
Do you admit or deny the allegations?
We admit.
Okay.
And the city will be seeking a declaration of violation for this case.
You will be?
Yes.
Okay.
I move to find the respondent was in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case. The violation was corrected prior to today's hearing and enter an order that no fine be imposed. If the respondent repeats the violation, the board may order a fine of up to $500 for each day the violation continues to exist.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Sir, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
You are going to reopen, right?
We hope so.
Yeah.
It just depends.
I live on Nursery, and that's one of our stops, you know?
Sorry about that.
Okay, but you are going to open.
We want to.
Well, what happened? It just,
You know, it's tough to get into the location now. You know, it was very tough.
Oh.
Access was very much impeded over the years, as you know. With growth, some things kind of, worked for the greater good, but maybe not for us, for our access.
gotcha.
I think it hurt us.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck, Todd. 4-8.
Okay, 24619.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Fine respondents, Baccarat Properties, Inc. at 1280 South Highland Avenue in violation of code for sign maintenance and issue an order with the compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met.
Madam Chairman, what case are we on?
4.8.
4.8.
Very bottom of the first sheet.
Okay.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Samir Keshwani. I'm on behalf of my uncle.
I'm
His name-
sorry, you'll have to spell your first name and last, please.
Samir, S-A-M-I-R, Keshwani, K-E-S-H-W-A-N-I.
Thank you.
And I'm on my behalf of my uncle. He cannot travel, but whatever the sir says, it's correct. I'm fixing the signs which he told me about it, and we are on it. I just need some more time, that's all.
Mr. Knight?
Still in violation.
Yeah.
He still is in violation.
He admitted.
He admitted.
Yes.
If you'll just have a
I
seat.
move to find the respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Well, Board, Daniel Knight, sign inspector with the city. This is case 246-19 for sign maintenance at 1280 South Highland Avenue. The city is asking compliance on or before January 18th of 2020 or a fine of $150 per day that the violation continues to exist. We're asking the board to authorize the following. After 3 months from the recordation date of such lien, if the fines and fees remain unpaid, the city's attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien using any legal or equitable remedies under the law. Compliance can be met for the sign maintenance by repairing and/or replacing the sign at the property so that it's in good condition, free of any damage, rust, discoloration, fading, and/or peeling paint or other elements. This is the Express Mart on Lakeview and Highland. It would be the northwest corner. And the sign itself is just cracking, fading paint, it's peeling. Like the gentleman said, a sign contractor has called me and said that they are working on it. I told him that we would be requesting a compliance date of January 18th, and he told me that that should be more than enough time to complete the task. That was on, and this is on Friday, just to show that compliance still was not met.
Okay.
Okay. So you have a contractor working on the sign,
Yes,
is that
yes, ma'am.
right? And January 18th seems to be okay with
Yes,
him?
ma'am.
Okay, all right. Well, I appreciate you coming in. You want to do the second motion?
I move, second motion, I move to enter an order requiring the respondent to correct a violation on or before January 18th, 2020. If the respondent does not comply by that date, the board may order a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day each violation continues to exist, If fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank
Good
you.
luck, Samantha.
Okay. Case 248-19, fine respondents PV-Drew LLC at 1993 Drew Street in violation of code for business tax receipt required, sign maintenance, and issue an order with compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Mr. Knight? Hi. Please identify yourself.
Nicholas Economides, Ekonomides, for PV Drew.
Okay. Do you admit or deny?
Well, as of today, I believe, they're in compliance or in the process of being complied with. There's 4 tenants at this property. One of them is a national insurance company, and they use a big sign outfit out of Texas. I've communicated that with Mr. Knight today and before today by email. The second item is a business license of one of the tenants there, a restaurant. He has paid for his business license. However, in communicating with Mr. Knight today, I was informed that they also have to, I suppose, have their grease trap inspected or what have you, in order to have the license issued. So it's paid for, but not issued. And that's where we are.
So we're kind of on the border, right?
Yeah, and I do have a copy of the paid business license if you would like to see, and also I do have the sign company, ADART, out of Texas. It's handling freeway insurance. I have their communications and plans and drawings as well.
Okay. Did they give you a timetable?
Well, the email to me from the sign company is November 6th, 2019, but in conversations with them, they said that there's apparently some tremendous backlog with signs or what have you. Now, the signs are not completely falling to pieces, you have to understand, and there might be some fading, but myself, to the naked eye, driving by, I don't see any peeling per se. And at the same time, freeway insurance is going above and beyond by changing all their signs. I guess the panel sign and the pylon sign and the one that's on the building for their space as well. They're going to change everything.
Okay.
So that's good.
Okay. If you'll have a
But
seat,
they're
we'd
not
like
in
to,
compliance, are they?
no.
Having changed the signs, they have not changed the
They're not-
signs.
No, they're not in compliance. It doesn't matter what they're doing or what they're trying to do. You know,
Yeah.
we're here to work with you and give you the time you require to get it done. You know
Right.
when they will have it done?
No,
I
it doesn't.
I don't know when.
That's a problem.
We've asked them to update us.
Okay.
So, but we will need more time.
So was that a yes on the admit?
On the what?
Admit or deny?
You know, I admit that Mr. Knight has found violations. As far as the business license, yes. No, although it's paid for today.
Okay.
On the signs, honestly, I don't think there's anything wrong with them.
Well,
Yeah, the thing
Mr.
is.
Knight?
So if you're asking me to admit, I mean, I could tell you that I admit that Mr. Knight thinks they're not in compliance, but I don't think that I could.
You know how it kind of works is if he doesn't think it's in compliance,
Not.
it's not in compliance.
Mhm.
So there
I
you
guess
go.
so.
And-
But they're replacing them all.
And as you said, they're in contact, your client is in contact with their sign company, which is in Texas and so forth. So apparently they think they're not in compliance.
Well, let me
You
clarify.
would admit that you were not in compliance, and we can maybe get you to the point where we have time established that you can meet and become in compliance.
Yeah, that's fine. We do need additional time. Let me clarify something, however. Although I'm a lawyer, I have an interest in the entity that owns the property. So it's not really
It's-
typical attorney-client scenario.
Okay.
So it's a yes on the admit?
kind of.
You want to make a first motion?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go
I
ahead.
guess so, yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah, anyway.
It's
I think I'm on the record saying I don't think there's anything wrong with the signs.
Right, that's
But
fine.
if this
That's
is
fine.
administrative and you require it,
That's our procedure here. We
Yes.
ask you if you admit or deny, you pick one, and then we go forward.
yeah, that's a lot to ask of an attorney.
I know. Yes or no, right?
I agree. First motion, I move,
Attorney has something to say.
oh, I'm sorry.
Well, why don't we just have Mr. Knight present the city's case? And then-
That's good.
Okay.
That's what we're gonna do now, yeah. But he's gonna, that's what we're waiting to prove, that why you're not in compliance.
I'm sure he will say something.
Aboard, Daniel Knight, sign inspector with the city. This is for case 284-19 for 1993 Drew Street. There are two violations at the property. One is for code section 3-1502I and 3-1805Q2 for sign maintenance, and the second for code section 29.31, 29.41, 29.35, and 1-104B, which is a zoning violation for a BTR being required at the property. Notice of violation was sent out on August 13th of 2019 with a compliance date of September 23rd, 2019. I did receive the certified mail receipt back on 8/22. This is on the corner of Hercules and Drew. This would be the southwest corner. As you can see, freeway insurance, their sign is faded compared to all the other signs. And then also on the day of the initial inspection, we had this attached sign that was falling over. So when I go out and I assess a property, if sign maintenance is at one business, I have to look at the entire property as a whole until compliance can be met. So this was on 8/12. On 9/26, you can see the cracking and the fading of the sign itself. This is the side panel on 10/29. Again on 10/29. This is just a far shot to show you that the restaurant did remove that falling off portion of the sign, so their business did come into compliance with sign maintenance, but the property as a whole did not because of the sign maintenance for the side sign and the freestanding sign. This restaurant is also the business that did not have a business tax receipt. The business owner, they changed hands. The old business owner didn't renew their BTR and had a back balance. The new business owner came in, tried to obtain one. We told him that the back balance would need to be paid. He couldn't do it at the time. He did, however, come in yesterday, and he did pay for that back balance, but the city requires a grease trap inspection to be done by the city before we can issue that business tax receipt. Like I told the business owner yesterday, if that grease trap inspection came in before I had to come here today, that I would present the case for that business tax receipt as in compliance, but it hasn't been done yet, so it's still technically in violation. There is no business tax receipt issued for this business, even though it's been paid for. The issuance of the BTR has not been done. This isn't current. This is from 12/13, so I haven't updated it since yesterday. So it would not show a fee anymore because it has been paid, but it still has not been issued. And this was on 12/13 again, the cracking, fading paint on the sign. And just again to show that that sign did come into compliance. And I will let you deliberate. Any questions for me?
I do.
Yes.
So regarding the restaurant and the grease trap.
Yes.
When you talked to them, did you tell them the first time that you're going to have that grease trap inspected prior to my issuing you the BTR?
Not myself in particular, but the business tax receipt specialists that would issue that BTR, inform them of all the criteria that would need to be met before that business tax receipt would be issued.
Okay, so it's not like they didn't know.
They did come in and show that they had a third party come and, I think, drain a grease trap, but the city still needs to go out there and make sure that it's all in compliance.
All right. Thank you. I have a question.
Oh, yes.
Hey, this is the typical case. We have a building, we have 4 separate businesses in that one building, and LLC is the owner of the building.
Correct.
And because one sign is out of violation, we still hold, yeah.
It's the
We
entire
go to the, and sir, you represent the owner,
Yes.
LLC, okay. And I heard what you said at the beginning, the one sign is out, but the owner's going above and beyond, he's replacing them all. Is that what you said?
Yes, and I don't know
Insurance
if
company.
it was all, you're right, it's Freeway. Freeway is an insurance company.
Gotcha.
what I have for today is just the pylon sign. I don't know if I'm reading that correctly.
Thank you. I'm crying.
Base panel for freeway is what I have, which would be the pylon sign. So they're doing all of them.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Yeah, Daniel, can I ask real quick, is the holdup on the grease trap a delay in the scheduling of the appointment on the restaurant's
Typically-
behalf, or because the city's too busy or hasn't been able to get out there?
Typically, the grease trap inspectors get out, as soon as we tell them, hey, we need something out there, the next day they'll go out there. It's just that they haven't been able to reply back to our DRT before I was able to come here today. So I can't say whether or not they've been out there today or not, but it should have been done at least by end of business today.
Okay. Okay. Can I hear a second motion?
Yeah,
We need,
he has any questions?
Do you have questions?
Well, just to point out, based on what was heard here, I think I'm beginning to understand a little bit more about the grease trap. My understanding was that it's that they already had a letter that only required that they report a pump out every 60 days, and this is that letter. So, I mean, I don't know about an inspection or not. But in any case, that's where we are. I don't think it's insurmountable. My secretary informed me that he did text the pump out as requested in the letter, email it or text it to Emily Laurenti, and I think that would probably take care of it.
It doesn't, sir. That's what he was saying. What it needed is for the city inspector, person that inspects grease traps for the city, to do that. He hasn't done, that person hasn't done that yet.
But it's
Once
imminent.
that's
Yeah,
done,
you gotta have that done to
reports
get your
the
license.
BTR person, and then they issue the license. So that hasn't happened. The other thing is the signs. So how much time do you think you require, based on the information that you've been given by all your parties, to come into compliance with the sign? Because it looks like the BTR thing is moving along.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I think so, yeah, 60 days.
60 days is what he's asking for.
Mr. Knight, what's your recommendation here?
The city was gonna recommend compliance by January 18th, but I don't have a problem with giving 60 days.
Okay.
So February 18th?
February 18th.
February 18th?
Yeah.
That's close.
All right, I'm ready. I'll make a second. Any other questions?
You gonna make it?
Yeah, I'll make it.
What's the fine if it doesn't,
We were gonna request $150 a day
per
per violation.
violation?
Oh, you're right, we don't have the first
We
one.
need the first motion.
I
We
thought
we
we
made it
did.
first. Yeah, I thought I did.
I don't think we did.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. I move to find respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. How about
Second motion, I move to enter an order requiring a respondent to correct the violations on or before.
Recommendation, yeah, I'm sorry.
No, he did.
He did.
He did.
We got that. We did.
Oh,
He said $150 per day.
okay, I'm sorry.
We did a sidebar kind of.
Okay.
to us without the presentation.
We good? Second motion, I move to enter an order requiring the respondent to correct the violations on or before February 18, 2020. If the respondent does not comply by that date, the board may order a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day each violation continues to exist. If fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such a lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Good luck.
Just keep in touch with Mr. Knight.
Thank you, Nicholas.
will, thank you very much.
Pleasure. Thank you, sir.
She's ready. Okay. Case 250-19, Cynthia R. Mansfield at 107 Evelyn Avenue in violation of code for roof exterior surfaces, and issue an order with a compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Are you, okay. Hi, how are you?
I was explaining to the gentleman that I don't currently,
Just a minute. Would you please identify yourself?
Cynthia Mansfield, Mansfield.
Okay.
I don't currently reside at the house. I've been staying with my mother for the last year and a half because her health is ill. She's in ill health. I got notification of a red sign being in the yard when a friend of mine drove by. I didn't know it was there. I sent out a gentleman to do the limbs and the gutters, and I called the number. I showed him, I had a picture, and I called the number on the red sign and asked, did I do what was required? If not, please let me know. I'd like to, come in compliance. Nobody called me back. And I'd also asked, do I take down the sign? Do you come out and recheck it? You take down the sign if it's in compliance. And then he sent out a notification of this hearing, and again, somebody notified me because I don't go over there. And then I just came here because I want to be in compliance. I spoke with him. He said the limbs are fine, the gutters are fine, but I still need to, I guess, pressure clean the front of the house and paint it. So I do admit there is an issue, and that January 18th, I guess he's going to recommend would be fine.
Okay. Okay, so you admit to the exterior, sir? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I
I
have
move to find the respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, if you'll have a seat,
Yes, ma'am.
let's talk to Mr. Casement.
Good afternoon, everyone. How are we doing today?
Oh, we're fine.
For this one, I'm requesting a declaration of violation for the clean roof violation, because that did come into compliance when I went and took a look at it around the 5th of December. The other thing, for the exterior surfaces is still an issue, and I'm requesting $150 per day. While requesting compliance on it before January 18th of 2020, or a fine of $150 per day for that violation. You're asking the board to authorize the filing after 3 months from the recordation date of such lien if the fines and fees remain unpaid. The city's attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or sell such lien using any legal or equitable remedies under the law.
And Ms. Manfield's aware of what needs to be done?
Yes, he said I need to pressure clean the front of the house, repaint it, and paint the front door.
That's it?
Would you like to look at some of the photos for
Sure.
this? Compliance can be met for the exterior surface by removing any chipped or peeling paint and cleaning the walls of the home and repainting both the eaves and the walls. This was the initial time I went out. It was 8/21/2019. Someone had complained about the grass being overgrown, so I posted it for a lot clearing violation. While I was there, I noticed that tree limbs that were growing on top of the house and the exterior was dirty. These were the limbs that were growing on top of the home. Those have been removed. And then there were all the plants growing in the gutters. And there's the chipping and peeling paint on the eaves and the walls. And a picture of the branches. They never received any green card, anything back, so I had to post the property affidavit of posting for both the notices of violation. That was done on September 24th, 2019. Again, went back afterward, after 10 days, still there were same issues. And then this was at the 5th of December. The tree issue has been taken care of, it looks really good, but it was just still the issue of the exterior surfaces, and this was the notice of hearing that was taped to the door on the 5th for this hearing. And I went back on the 16th, and there were still the same issues.
Hey, on the roof, is that a declaration?
Yes, that was a declaration.
You're seeking a declaration on the first violation?
Yes, and then
Okay.
I'll make the declaration on the first, and somebody take care of the rest.
Okay.
Move to find in regard, case 250-19 regarding exterior surfaces and regarding the roof and limbs. Move to find a respondent was in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case. The violation was corrected prior to today's hearing, and to enter an order that no fine be imposed. If the respondent repeats the violation, the board may order a fine of up to $500 for each day the violation continues to exist.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay.
So we need a second motion on the exterior.
exterior surfaces, yeah.
Are you okay with that time limit?
Yes, I'll make it happen.
Madam Chair, may I ask the gentlelady just a few questions?
Sure.
Ma'am, you might want to stay. Yeah, you haven't lived in the house for 2 years?
Since June of 2018.
Okay. Do you intend to move back at any time?
I'd love to. My mother's health, every time I think I can move back, she has an episode.
Sounds like my mother.
And then just, can you please leave your forwarding address
I
to
did.
Mr. Castman, and also give it to the board secretary, so we'll know where to give notices to from you.
He's got my phone number and the address I'm currently at.
And just give it to. All right, thank you.
Ma'am, do you keep any utilities on while you're away?
Yes. I have the trash and I have air conditioner.
And I'm sorry, do you have anybody living there now, or is it?
No.
Okay.
Was that a yes on January 18th?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's all,
You're okay
that's only 2 weeks
Yes,
away.
sir.
All right, second motion. I move to enter an order requiring the respondent to correct the violation, that's the exterior surface, on or before January 18, 2020. If the respondent does not comply by that date, the board may order a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day each violation continues to exist. If fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Good luck to
Motion
you.
carries.
Would you like me to give you the address now or wait till afterward, the meeting's over?
You don't want to wait that long.
So you got to the 18th, okay?
Thank you for
Yes, sir.
coming.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
luck to you.
Good luck, Cynthia.
Nice lady.
All right.
Okay. Case 25119, Western Auto Supply Company at 2436 Gulf Bay Boulevard. In violation of code for exterior surfaces, and issue an order with the compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Is there anyone here?
I don't think there's anyone, is there? I think so. This is actually going to be a declaration of violation. They came into compliance on the 16th.
Okay. Can I have a
I
motion?
move to find the respondent was in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case. The violation was corrected prior to today's hearing and to enter an order that no fine be imposed. If the respondent repeats the violation, the board may order a fine of up to $500 each day for each day the violation continues to exist.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have a question.
Motion carries.
So what's the name of the business there? It's not Western Auto.
It's Advanced Auto.
Advanced Auto, okay.
Yeah,
Western
off the
Auto is
bay.
an old company,
Yeah.
and they changed the name to.
They own they own the whole building. There's a tire shop and then there's the auto shop. And the issue was on the north side of the building, which faces the rear of the building, the rear of the business. And they just had a bunch of algae on the walls they hadn't been cleaning up, but they cleaned it up, so it looks good now.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Case 25219, Monica Tabor at 1255 Caracas Avenue. Violation of code for business tax receipt required in commercial vehicle parking. And issue an order with compliance deadline if compliance is not met.
Madam Chair, the city is requesting a declaration of violation in this case.
On both?
On both.
Okay.
I move to find the respondent was in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case. The violation was corrected prior to today's hearing and to enter an order that no fine be imposed. If the respondent repeats the violation, the board may order a fine of up to $500 for each day the violation continues to exist.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay, here we go. Continued from November 20th. Case 25419. Crime respondents Ruth M. Sorolo at 1100 South Myrtle Avenue in violation of code for unsafe building and issue an order with compliance deadline and fine if not met. Yes, ma'am. Do you admit or deny?
I admit.
Okay.
Would you identify yourself for the
This is
record,
the one
please?
we
Yeah, I
tabled
remember
from
this.
last month. She came in.
We tabled it from last month, remember?
My name is Renee Russell. Thank you.
4.16, Daniel.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mike,
Thank you, Mike.
Okay, we have an admission. Do I have
You want it
a
first?
motion? First motion?
I move to find the respondent was in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
Is in violation.
Mhm.
Okay. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Okay. Mr. Cantrell.
Hello,
Hello.
I'm Jason Cantrell, Building Inspector, City of Clearwater. Since we have an omission, I'll go ahead and go straight to a couple of photos before we carry on. This property is just behind the Domino's Pizza Plaza on Myrtle Avenue. This is a front view of the property. There are two structures on this property. This one and then the brick building behind that. Just showing some of the deterioration at the building. Some electrical issues, dangling wires there. More holes straight through the wall. At the back corner, you could see the framework.
So this is the same case that what Mr. Dixon had?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so, but now this is a different,
Yes,
Now
he
it's
cited the
unsafe.
code issues, and now I'm citing the unsafe issues.
We tabled this last month
We did,
from a previous
correct,
meeting.
yes.
And we tabled it last month because she had a potential buyer. Mike, you were involved on that.
There was just two structures on the property,
Yes.
Two, yes.
right? The one that came, and the other one was.
I think
And you're right, yeah.
This was unsafe. Well, it's still unsafe. Right.
Let him finish his presentation.
it's falling down.
she does have a contract that's signed, so she's here to ask for more time. I just wanted to show the pictures before we moved on to that.
Delightful pictures.
Yeah, it's in bad shape. She's aware of this.
Well, it's fortunate because I think, you know, the city has worked with you in this. We understand that you're the executor of your friend's estate, and apparently you see an end here, but you need time now.
Yes, sir. My son Ryan, he was the one that was with me here.
Yes.
And then it was postponed until today, and Ryan couldn't be here due to work.
Okay.
So I'm very shaky,
You
sorry.
take your time and just relax, okay?
We're with, we've switched realtors to Keller Realty, and the realtor's name is Brandon Rhymes. And there's a contract pending.
Okay.
They're reaching for the closing date to be February the 7th. Working with the buyer to determine if earlier date is possible. This is my son's handwriting. So,
If there was a date of February 18th, that would probably work if they're looking at a closing of the 7th. Does that work for the city?
Well, it's pending, that's if it closes.
Well, yeah, well, you won't know till the
We asked for
7th.
more
will you?
time.
That's why I don't think we should.
May I ask a question?
Since,
Is that your contract right there?
no, so the contract was emailed to my son, so I met him at 9 o'clock at his house last night because he didn't get home.
You don't have a copy of that with you? The contract, the current contract?
The new contract was just drawn up. You're talking about the proposal, right?
You know, the problem I have with this is this has been going on too long. This was brought to us in February. And there was a problem too,
building
if I'm
has
not
been that
mistaken,
way for
with the realtor. You were
years.
going to switch realtors.
And she did.
And then the city was graceful enough last month to give her more time. And here we are again. I mean, how
Okay.
long?
And between that, last month, actually, when we were here, is when we were told it was being postponed until today. So
Right,
there
and
was
in
no
that time,
stop.
they have
But
found
the
the
month
buyer.
before that.
She changed realtors. Well, we gave her that
Right.
advice.
It's only been a
Right.
couple
So
of
she changed
months.
realtors. She has a buyer. She doesn't have a copy of the contract with her because her son is helping her deal with this. What she
But I
has
can
there, a
give
copy
you
of her
the name of the
notes.
realtor and the phone
And
number.
I think she's been moving along, wished it was quicker.
Since we changed
I think-
realtors.
Right. I
Given
agree.
some of the other things we
February
do.
7th
That's the way I look at
18th.
it.
It's Christmas, so I'm not going to say anything.
I'm just
There you
mean.
go.
asking for,
But this
For
has to
mercy
get going.
of
This is taking up too much of the city's time, and it's unsafe. What if somebody gets hurt there? And then who's that going to be on? Us?
the
city?
building has been that way for many, 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 many years.
Well, then you're
And we're over,
you're
I
making my
say
case
we,
for me.
myself and Ryan, at least 2 to 3 times a week. Even at dark, which my husband tells me not to do that because of the danger of a woman being, but I take my 13-year-old with me, my adopted son. I know it sounds crazy,
If I had a magic wand,
but I
Give you
mean,
a
looking
wish.
for vagrants or just,
Is the property fenced?
just on the sides.
you know,
But the black building behind the front, it's not that big. What is it, about 1,500 square feet?
Probably.
Right.
A real estate agent told you they have a prospective buyer?
Yes, and the closing, the proposed closing date is February the 7th.
And they have a contract.
But-
They received the contract last night.
Oh,
It
yes,
was
yeah.
mailed to her son.
Ryan got the email.
So you have a copy of the
But
contract?
meantime, they're going to, do the inspection of what you do when you buy land. Many inspections of
They're gonna have an inspection.
Yeah.
That's too.
the buyers.
so
I
we're
mean,
talking
nobody's
about
buying that for the
February.
buildings, that's for sure.
Well, my question,
They've asked for a closing date of the
this
7th.
property is not sold,
not-
February 7th, what happens then?
Could I answer that? I think, it's my opinion, if this is not sold by that date, that the city should come in there and level it. And
Right.
fill the
That's
property.
pretty pricey.
I mean,
Well,
Also, Ryan got a proposal for a demolition company for 20,000. And that was within the last 2 weeks, or
That's your son, Ryan?
the young man that came with me
Hopefully you'll
last
sell
month.
it. You won't have to worry about it.
Okay.
Well, we have a recommendation from the
Yes.
city.
In the meantime, this happened because we've only been working with this realtor for a couple of months. So it's moving much faster than it did with the other realtor that Ruthie used before she passed even. But they really want the property. They want to build, from what I understand, they're from Poland, or they're a Polish family, and they want to build 4 condos on there for their family all to live together. That's what I was told.
Okay, okay.
That's all well and good,
Yeah, I hope
but
that
that's in the
happens.
future. Can we hear from this gentleman here, please?
How about if we do 2 orders? One order is effective today. That would give the city the right to enter the property to correct the issue. That would mean demolition of the structures. And the second order would be a fine that would be imposed, a date that was picked by the board that could be after that closing date. It doesn't have to be soon, but if the order is given for demo today, then the city always has the option to go in and take care of the issue.
They being the buyers, the prospective buyers, have given an offer to buy the property as is and take care of the demolition. That's why it's.
Yeah, let's do one thing.
But that could be time consuming. See, they could buy the property, but that does
But
not mean they're going to demolition right after
And
they
then
buy
have
it.
them
That
stick
could
it
take
in.
months.
yeah, maybe we should hear the
They're
city's
aware
recommendation. I
of
mean,
the code.
that wasn't a recommendation.
But the city's recommending that it go ahead and be raised
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
That assures us it can be safe while it's still being sold.
Exactly.
I don't have the $20,000 to demolition.
Right.
And I don't have the credit. I'm 72,
Yes, ma'am, I understand that.
and I don't want to borrow any more money.
I'm not suggesting that the city's going to charge you $20,000 because I don't know.
Well, let's not get into that. Let's see if we can't get this thing
Try to
closed.
sell the property and.
I'm torn on that too, because I understand we want to listen to the city's recommendation on that, but we've been patient and compassionate for 3 or 4 months with this, and now all of a sudden, when we finally got a buyer and a signed contract, now we want to run in and blast the buildings down and have her eat a cost of $20,000. I just don't know if that's applying to the compassion and patience that we've shown for 4 months, so I think, maybe slow
Mr.
that down
Cantrell,
a
what's your
little bit.
recommendation?
I agree with Mr. Root. I think if we got an order for demolition, that doesn't necessarily mean we have to act on it at this point. But then we also give a compliance date with fines. That way, if that would hopefully give her time to sell the property. But then we would still have the ability to come in and correct the issue after that if we need that.
What would that date be?
That would be picked by you. We generally recommend 30 days, but that can be picked, that date can be whatever you.
Well, they gotta, I mean, here's the
We have
whole
a
thing.
city attorney's trying to get a word in here, so if the board will let him.
Good. One of us.
Just to, I'm sorry, just to amend a little bit of what Jason said, I talked to Mr. Root. The city will be okay with setting the compliance date for April 7th. That will give them until February 7th to close and then 2 months to demo it however. If they don't reach demolition by April 7th, whether it's by the gentlelady or the owner, then the city will have the right to come on to the property, do the violation, and then if they want to do the fine, we do the fine then. Is that
It's
reasonable?
better than two different orders.
Oh,
Right, it's all one thing to help her.
Ma'am, this, you don't need to cry.
I know, sir.
Okay, I'm okay if everybody else is okay.
I'd like to say
so
something.
crazy.
Okay.
This has been going on, like you say, for 4 months. And everything that you have said, you have done. And to me, that shows how this whole system's supposed to work. We're making progress. And I think the city's saying, give us a tool that if it doesn't get corrected, we can move, makes sense. And then it's
April 7th,
established,
right?
so I think that's the way to go. And we're just continually making progress. Versus some cases that come before us, nothing happens. And that restaurant was operating, and those buildings behind it were in the same condition they were then than they are today. So now, all of a sudden, the world's not gonna come to an end if it waits a few days more.
Yes.
So we would request a compliance date by April 7th.
That sounds fair.
Sounds very good.
That is so wonderful.
April 7th, that's what our attorney said.
Andy, could I ask a question? Andy, in the language of the second motion, do I mention the demo in there, or
Yes.
just go with the?
No, you do. You say that that she has till April 7th to come in compliance, and if not, the city has the right to come in and demolish and/or and start a fine of whatever amount you want to put per day.
Okay. I'm good if you want me to make that motion.
You know how much fine we
What's the fine looking?
He didn't give us one. He said it's up to us. I was gonna say 150.
150?
Yeah.
That's what we typically recommend.
Okay, it's a typical fine, and she's gonna have it
I'm
done.
hard of hearing
anyways.
today. I have an earache and my hearing aid is buzzing over here.
That is what we typically recommend.
I'm gonna try. If I make a mistake, just stop me, but.
Okay.
Second motion.
Have we done it first?
Yeah, we did it first.
I did.
You did, okay.
I move to enter an order requiring the respondent to correct the violations on or before April 7th, 2020. If that is not the case by April 7th, 2020, the city has the right to come in and demo it. And fines, that's the language of that. If the respondent does not comply by that date, the board may enter a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day each violation continues to exist. If fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed.
This is an unsafe building, isn't it?
Oh.
That's not the verbiage for unsafe building.
No, you're exactly right, man. You're close. Oh, yeah, I wasn't feeling well here. All right. Excuse me. He's right. It's unsafe building. I move to enter an order requiring the respondent to correct a violation or violations on or before April 7th, 2020. If this is not corrected by April 7th, 2020, the city has the right to come in and do the demo themselves. Okay? If the respondent,
I don't mean to interrupt, please forgive me. I don't even know if this is pertinent, but I need to ask it if I may. Excuse me, I'm just shaking, so I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to embarrass you.
That's okay.
The proposal is for $250,000. And Ruthie's credit card is like almost 80-something thousand that she owes.
Right.
And then there's, of course, the closing cost, and then we pay the property tax for them there again. What I'm trying to say is, I don't know what the attorney's fees or the closing costs and all that, but there isn't going to be, of course, that much. I don't know. I have no idea what's left. All I know is it needs to be taken care of. But what if there isn't enough money to pay you? I'm not thinking negative. I am thinking positive that it's going to sell, pardon my English. But hypothetically, if something happened, how would I pay you back?
If you don't.
When
I
there's
understand your
nothing,
question.
there's nothing, not that much going to be
The
left
city would put a
anyway.
lien on your property.
Say again, sir?
The city would put a lien on your property, and that's how they would get their.
Okay, I see.
In other words, it'd be sold one way or the other.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Let's hope.
It's the last thing that
That
should.
we don't wanna do that.
I know, but I was just, I lay over.
Okay.
about-
I'm going to finish this motion. Second motion, I'm going to start over. I move to enter an order requiring the respondent to correct a violation, this is unsafe building, on or before April 7th, 2020. If this is not corrected by April 7th, 2020, the city has the right to come in and demo it themselves. Okay, if the respondent does not comply by that date, the board may enter a fine of $150 per day for each day the violation continues to exist. The city may take all reasonable actions, including entry onto the property, to bring the property into compliance and charge the respondent with all costs, which will become a lien on the property. If the costs, fines, and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien. I think that answers your
Yes, sir.
question.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Good luck. I
luck.
hope you put this to
You're going
rest.
on the right path. It looks a lot better than it did a few months ago. Stay with it, and soon it'll be done. I think you're going to be okay with it all.
Thank you, Mr.
And my hat's off to the city too, Mike. You guys, you show compassion. I like that.
Merry Christmas.
You guys are good sometimes, man.
And a half.
Sometimes.
I hope it sells.
That's why I like sitting here doing this, you know? We
Continue, we're going down to new business, are we?
Yes, we are. Unfinished business.
Oh, okay.
No problem.
Got one more here.
Thank you, and I will see you all next year. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
17 is,
Good luck, ma'am.
I wish you.
Thank you.
January
Ruth, you would be
22nd,
appreciative for the way you've
2020.
handled her property.
Read.
I was praying for mercy and God answered my prayers.
You got it.
You.
God bless you.
I just want to do what she wanted. This is not the way.
You're doing well.
Thank you
good.
so much.
Unfinished
You're good.
In
business.
the name of Jesus.
I'm trying.
That's why they call it Christmas, not Christmas. Right.
Thank you.
You're so sweet.
Thank you, Mr. Republic. Madam Chairman,
Yes,
should
dear.
I make a motion on the affidavits of compliance?
You certainly may.
I move to accept the affidavits of compliance as listed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
How do you really feel, Sheila?
Is there somebody here to speak to something?
We got another one, unsafe building.
Yeah.
No, that was continued, or withdrawn.
Case 51-19.
That's it.
Is she here? Is she here for?
Is that it?
No.
Here for a case, Madam Chair?
No.
No?
Are any of these people, there's a
No.
lady over there.
Any other board actions? No, we're good.
She's a reporter.
Are we done?
Oh.
Nothing, yes, nothing further from,
Is there anything else we can do? We just want to hang out for a little longer.
Don't we have
I wanna go home.
don't we have to vote on accepting the affidavits?
I'm sensing that.
I'm back.
Don't we have to vote on
I guess not.
accepting the affidavits of compliance?
We just
We did.
Okay.
And
You
now
voted, and you voted yes.
you adjourn,
Yes.
so we're
There
good.
you go.
I wanted to make sure.
This meeting is adjourned.
Hey!
Merry Christmas to all.